Hi guys, welcome to Michelle's Opinions. Today we have Amber with us and we're going to be talking about light workers or those that hold the light and some mistakes that we could make. Along with, how it goes with her and I, we just will flow with the conversation, and I want to let you know that her channel information is in the show more notes, so please subscribe to her. She's well, why don't you tell them what project you're working on right now on your channel?
Okay, hi everyone. At the moment, I'm working on, I'm uploading recordings of me orating a book, which is Manly P. Hall's The Secret Teachings of All Ages. And once a week, I have a spot on a online radio show, which is called The New Way Show, hosted by Dr. Lily Time. And it's there that I am orating the book, and we're discussing the parts that I orate each week with a live audience, and I'm recording that and I upload that onto my YouTube channel. And that show, is it okay if I mention another channel where it's live streamed, Michelle?
No, yeah.
Okay, great. That's live streamed on Disintegral's channel, Disintegral. So he live streams the New Age Show, and so you'll find all the shows because it's a daily show on his channel. But my channel, I'm uploading my spot, which is when I'm orating the book, as well as other bits and pieces that'll be coming up as well. But
Nice.
thank you very much.
I also want to address. Oh, I want to know if there's an echo from the sound coming through me talking to her through the Hangouts and also the microphone. If there is, I will fix that. And I also wanted to address the oopsie on, because I haven't live streamed in so long and been in OBS very often. I accidentally live streamed something that I was trying to actually just record so my husband would have it just in case something odd may have happened. So for anybody who's seen that, I sincerely apologize. I apologize for the language. I apologize for what you endured. And I took it down immediately. I didn't even know that it went live like that until my husband's notifications went off saying that I was live. And I'm like, I'm not live. And sure enough, it was live. So I do want to apologize. That has been removed. That was never an intentional thing to come up and out. So, hey, Fifth World, how are you? Uh-oh. Ha ha, Michelle is sparkling on the screen again. No. I don't want to be green. So, anyways, we can start by talking about when we put things out there and we say that these things are, we should always share our experiences, because sharing our experiences is how we grow. But when we share our experiences, that doesn't mean everybody's experiences are going to be the same. And when we start thinking that way, we go into a term that you and I have talked about over and over again, entrainment. So you want to give people what the definition of entrainment is and how that affects people when they become entrained with one another.
Okay, so an easy way to understand entrainment is to use this scenario. This is how I learned about it. So imagine you have three cellos side by side, and you pluck, say, a C string on one on the left and you pluck the C string at the same time and the one on the right. But nobody touches the cello in the middle. What you'll actually find is the C string on the cello in the middle starts to vibrate as if it's been plucked. And it's doing it because sound is a vibration, and it affects physical matter. So that cello in the center has entrained to the frequencies being emitted by the cellos on either side. Now, humans are made up of electromagnetic energy. We're made up of frequency. So when you walk into a room with a lot of negative people, that will start to affect you. It will start to vibrate. Emotion, our voices, everything is vibration. And that is going to affect you as well. And the opposite is true. If you're negative, you walk into a room full of positive people, that will start to affect you as well, because everybody in that room is in training to each other. And if you are negative, if you are angry or upset or in grief, you start to bring everybody else's vibration down towards yours as yours is lifted up. So everyone kind of meets at a certain point. Now, if you're not aware of this, then you are unable to affect your own emotional state to mitigate this effect. So this is also empathy. So this is what empathy is. So entrainment is where everyone starts to entrain to the same frequency, to a predominant frequency. And it's a constant interaction that's going on every second of our lives.
And if we're not careful, like I said, when people say, well, you're going to have X, Y, and Z symptoms, you're going to have headaches, stomach aches, stomach cramps, then, and that's what you're saying every week to people. And then when you come back the next week, everybody's having them because everybody wants to be on this path. And they're thinking, even subconsciously, they're picking up on this. And then they're manifesting it in their own body. That's how powerful
Absolutely.
we are. And, that's why we need to really listen to people who know what they're talking about. That, T. Taylor, for example, she would be a really good person to listen to because she's going through the whole crystalline DNA changes. But she also knows how to portray it in a way that she's not saying, that you're going to have the exact same thing as her. She's just giving information of her own proclamation of her own journey. Where some people say, at this shift, you're going to feel this, this, and this. And then people feel like they're missing out if they're not feeling this, this, and this, and then they manifest it within themselves. And it's suffering, and we don't want people to suffer. So that's why, we need to take care on the words that we use and the things that we say to people, because they will entrain themselves to it, manifest it within them, and then produce it. And nobody wants to do that. We don't want to harm anybody. We want to lift everybody up, you know?
Can I say something with that?
Sure.
And then, well,
Hello, it's the Amber and Michelle. We're supposed to bounce off of each other. Oh my gosh, T.
so
Taylor's in the room. If you guys see me looking down, it's because I have to read the chat from my tablet. So that's
yeah.
weird. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sweetie.
Okay, so another thing to remember is we are all part of communities, and when you are part of community, we are all energetically connected to a greater degree than otherwise would be. We're all connected anyway. I mean, most people here would understand that. But when you're part of a community, you're more connected at a deeper level to other members of that community. So as if other members of that community are manifesting symptoms within themselves, then that, even with the people who say didn't hear those words, that will have a knock-on effect throughout the
Through
community via
entrainment.
entrainment. So not only should you be responsible more for the words that come out of your mouth and the effects that they could have on others, but also it's about learning to be more responsible with your own energy to prevent you from or mitigate you affecting others that are in your community that you may be affecting without even being able to understand that's what's happened. And
Mm-hmm.
if you do feel ill, then you can, if you're more in control and aware of your own energy and these links with others, then you can offset those symptoms if you realize that they are coming from elsewhere. So you can, so learning to be in control of your own energy and how it affects you and others, and learning to just ask the question, is this feeling from me or is it from elsewhere? Is it from somebody else? Is it from a family member? Is it from a friend online? Is it from my neighbor? Is it from my pet? Just asking that question and then working through the steps to shift that away from you and seeing if it goes away. Does it ease? Does it disappear? We'll answer that question for you.
Mm-hmm. Just like the flower on top of the tree. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. And also it goes with your family. Somebody comes home with the flu, and then the next thing you know, the whole household has got the flu because you're tightly, your toroidal fields are crossing. We're sharing a space. The energy is there, and we can run, but we just can't hide. Because if you even go to the grocery store, you're crossing your field, your energy field is crossing over with others. And that's where the empathy that you were just talking about comes in. And you need to, learn what is yours and what is theirs. And that's a big part of the process. And not trying to have undue suffering onto others and to take responsibility. And that's why I'm not trying to go all biblical, but that's why I think that one of the statements that's really pretty profound that Christ made was, it's not what goes into the man's mouth that defiles him, it's what comes out. Because what we say has power. And so, since what we say has so much power, we should be careful on how we talk and how we express things to other, so that way we're not creating suffering. Because a lot of times the intentions are not towards harming anybody. It's good intentions. They're just sharing. But it ends up, harming, but not on purpose. Their heart's in the right place. That's from my experience. Now, of course, you run into every once in a while, you got people with some odd intentions. But, normally, most people, they're heart centered and they want to share and bring peace to people, and understanding, so they won't fear things. So I don't think that when this happens, it's done out of malice. I really think it's done with good intentions. But I do think that awareness of it is going to help people strengthen up and understand what is theirs and what they're picking up from somebody else, and to know how to discern the difference, so that way they can either accept or reject. We're supposed to be discerning everything, and that's a huge part of it. I'm quiet so you can talk now.
Well, something you just said reminded me of a conversation I was having just before the show. And you were talking about people with,
Synchronicity.
exactly, this topic has been prevalent in the Flame server the last couple of days. And as I
Wow.
said to you, I thought about you, and then you came in, and So that happens so often.
You
And
summoned me.
yeah, exactly. People with not so good intentions, as I think you put it. And the conversation I was having and the discussion with somebody I was having was about forgiveness. And we were discussing how important it is to forgive those that we perceive have done wrong in the world and to us. And forgiveness is critical, because if you understand that we are all really spirit living in a flawed holographic fractal reality that we are all co-creating together, then you cannot not forgive others as well as forgive yourself. But one step further from that, in my view, is forgiveness is the first part, but then to understand, not only must we forgive, we must be grateful for
Yes.
everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, the love, the hate, everything. Because if you love yourself as a spiritual being and everything else as a spiritual being unconditionally, then everybody and everything is the way it is because of all of that, the good, the bad, and everything else. So therefore you have to be grateful for it, because we wouldn't be, this world wouldn't be as it is, we wouldn't be who we are without the actions of others, including our own past actions, both what we look at as being bad actions and good actions. So we, one step further than that is to be grateful for ourselves, for everything we've done, good and bad, everything everyone else has done, good and bad. And that's really, really hard. But to me, that's where we need to, the humanity needs to go, where we need, what we should be striving for, in my opinion.
Well, gratitude is important, and I agree with you because if it wasn't for the low lows, how can you appreciate the high highs? How can you know if you don't if you've never had lack, how can you appreciate abundance? Every experience is an opportunity of growth. Now, I've noticed, like, when you look around yourself, and you have too. We did that. Gosh, what was that? About a year ago, when we did that chemtrail test,
Oh
where we
yeah.
we completely put them out of our mind and they
Yeah.
disappeared, and then we thought about them, and
Yeah.
then there was one in the sky, and so
Hmm.
you know, it, it starts to reflect what's going on inside of you, around you, in your atmosphere, with animals and plant life and the skies, and it all starts to reflect around you. Now, the one thing that we don't have any say so for, and we can't do the work for, is other people. They have to want to do it, or be called to do it, or um, be ready to want to make those changes. So,
No.
that's about you. So, we're going to have a lot of patience, for those that may come along later, because we have to remember where we came from. How did it all start? When how much did I think my hair was on fire when I thought the world was upside down and inverted when this happened, and everybody goes through the process in their own unique way. But in the meantime, we can see from the environment around us, like I said, plants, animals, sky, what's going on from within us will mirror, reflect back. And it's beautiful. I mean, when you start seeing everything in that light, with that much beauty, uh, even a thunderstorm is beautiful. I mean, this place is wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. The designer is one heck of a designer. There was nothing left out. Everything is covered for, whether this be a playground, or a school for us to learn and grow and expand, or whatever the terminology is. It's I'm constantly learning and fascinated daily. I mean, I'm to the point where I still get surprised sometimes by, people. But as for the environment and stuff, that kind of stuff doesn't seem to shock me. People do. It's like, it's still, you've talked to me about this before. That intuition, that gut instinct, I need to follow that gut instinct when I can feel something that's going a little hinky. I need to just know it. And we were just talking about that the other day, yesterday,
everywhere.
about why I didn't go forward with that opportunity. It's
Mm.
just, and then it got confirmed today. And when we get done here, I'll tell you how you're going to be like, what? But there's
Okay.
reasons. There's reasons why we step back and take a pause, take a breath, and don't just go like a bull in a china cabinet because, and that was actually following my gut, being
Yeah.
patient with it and seeing how things rolled out and everything, and then getting an affirmation today was like, what? Oh my gosh. And we just talked about it. We just talked about it. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. Always trust your intuition. There's one thing I've learned. Absolutely. And because like we said, we are spiritual beings living in this life. Who I am is not really who I am. But this is an ego. It's an identity. It's a product of this physical and spiritual being together in this world. It's not who I really am. It's not your identity isn't who you are. And so we're all being guided. We are all the guidance is there available to us, and that comes through us as intuition. And everything is decided before it happens. Just like when you move your arm, the decision to move your arm is decided by your mind, your subconscious mind, before the impulse goes down to move your arm. In a similar way, everything I believe that everything that happens in this reality is decided before the information comes through to our mind in order for us to do an action or have a thought. So that guidance is always there. It's just a matter of, are you going to listen to it? And the more you listen to it, the more it comes. And the more affirmations you have, and the more incredible coincidences you have.
I'm just
And
reading the chat a little bit here to make sure.
that's okay. Something else I wanted to clarify as well. What I was saying earlier about gratitude, I'm not suggesting that we should condone negative behavior, but it's about, if it happens, being grateful for the experience and the learning from it. So that is what I am suggesting.
Right. Be grateful for the learning experience. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's do some hellos to the people in chat that are chattering away. We've got
Okay.
Fifth World. Hello. T. Taylor, who caught me off guard because we were talking about her. Name redacted. Did I miss anybody? Oh, we got JJ. I can't really tell how many people are in the room. If that's everybody, but that's fine.
I've got 11 on my phone.
Hmm. Okay. Well, then I didn't list off 11 people. Some people must not be talking, or if I missed you, just say something and I'll make sure that I say hello to you. Oh, Amber's place is in the room. Name redacted is 11. Yeah, okay, 11. That's fine. Okay, so as light workers, or awakened, whether we're in the, we start in the somatic, we go into the psychic, we get into the pneumatic phase. And when you're in the psychic phase, your eyes are opening and you're peeling off the crusties and stuff like that. But and this is not a way of dividing people. I also see that everybody can wake up and will in their due time.
Yeah,
Where I see a problem is when we start dividing people into categories and then we dehumanize people.
yeah, yeah. I agree that that is a
Sorry, my
problem.
phone's ringing. I'll just let it.
Okay, if we keep dividing ourselves, then it's reminding ourselves that we are separate when we're not separate. Not really. I mean, whether you go for the scientific understanding or the spiritual understanding, they're saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're not separate. So if we're not separate, why are we dividing ourselves? That's our ego, our identity. And we're only different and separate on a very surface level. But truly we're not separate. We're part of the same thing.
Like those trees in the Amazon where they dug down and found out they all shared one root system.
Yeah, exactly.
All those trees were all connected. But we are uniquely having, that's what I'm saying. The more that I dive into this and the profound understanding that we are all one, we're all occupying the same space, we're all having experiences, but that are unique to each of us, and which also we all carry a piece of the puzzle. And once we put that puzzle back together, the oneness will be bink, all back together. But this is a way of um, making us look at each other in a different light, realizing the need for each other, that there is no separation, there is no dehumanizing, there is no NPC, that gamer term that gets thrown around a lot, that each of us hold a precious piece to this puzzle. And once we all get it together and we put it together, the oneness is just, it's like snapping in that last piece and we're there. Also, Fifth World, oh my gosh, I watched a premiere of hers today, and she looks at these sky images and draws out all the colors. I don't know if you're familiar with her, Amber, but I have the sky images that she pulls up and the wisdom that she has on these images, on what she's seeing and how she's able to discern it. I'll share that with you when we're done here too. They're absolutely gorgeous. Oh, the purples, the pinks, the rainbow colors. I mean, when I talk about what's going on, it reflects around you on the outside. That this woman catches all of these images. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It's like Skittles outside of her house.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and
Sounds really
faces and
interesting.
different animals show up in there and all different colors, and it's just amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So yeah,
Incredible.
we have a lot of sky watchers. We really do. Lee, who you brought up earlier, is he not doing his sky watching anymore? Or is he still continuing with it?
He is. I know when that's disintegral. I know when he's live streaming Lenny's show, it's the audio while watching the London skies.
Okay, gotcha.
He does it live. Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
know. He still does it. He still sees what he sees, and it's incredible what you can see when he's doing that. And he calls it cloud therapy because for many people it's very therapeutic.
Oh yeah.
It's beautiful.
Sky watching is therapeutic. It's just it's like going out and we should all be getting at least some sunshine every day. We need it. I mean, that's what the sky is meant for. It's calming. It'll rest your nerves. It's good to meditate outside. You know, I
Anything
normally
else?
I normally meditate when I'm getting ready to go to sleep. I'll lay down and do my meditation then, and then usually I'll fall asleep in meditation, and go on these wild trips, especially if I'm asking a lot of questions in meditation. But um,
You'll
yeah,
never
that's.
let me falling asleep, will you?
I'll never
Never.
go into a group meditation with you again. You left me hanging out there. I was off in La La Land. And if it wasn't for somebody else coming into the room, I was floating around and you were asleep. You were so under in symbiotic state that you were so far under. And I'm like, and she's supposed to be our guide? What? That was crazy. I went far too. I was like way out there. I was like, wow. I think I'm a little more comfortable with it now because I know I could pull myself back. But at the time, I was like, okay, all right, I trust you. I trust you. That wasn't the problem. It's just you meditated yourself so deep that all the rest of us in the room were just flying around, and God knows what everybody else was doing. Thank goodness when we went into post meditation, we did see a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
So whether you were maybe you were energetically guiding us at that point, I don't know. But no, I'm never going to let you live that down. No group meditations with her. Don't do it.
I
I'm
promise I don't fall asleep
I'm,
anymore.
I'm kidding. She's actually, you got that voice, that you're able to calm people down, and that's a gift. We all have these wonderful gifts within us, and they're meant to be used to help one another and to enhance the experience, not to harm one another, but to enhance and lift each other up. And so, I mean, it's just one more tool you got in your tool belt. But are you still doing your QH or BQHT?
But BQH, yes,
BQH.
I
Okay.
am. Yeah, I'm still doing some sessions, and still, it's not like I've gone out there and advertised myself. So if people come into my reality, and my intuition says to me they could benefit, then I will mention it and offer it. And if it's the right path for them at this time, then they'll come forward and ask for a session. So that's the way I look at it. If it's meant to be for somebody, then it will happen. That they'll be led to me anyway. So yeah.
Is it do you find it easier to do it in person or over the internet? Or is there
I've,
any difference?
I've never actually done one in person, so I've only done them online.
Oh.
So I have no idea, but I imagine I think it may be more. How I don't know. No, I don't think it would be, because I do the guided meditations online as well, and I haven't really done them in person either. So I'm not. I don't
That's a
really
little
think it
different though. Because if with your toroidal field also engaging with their toroidal field, you may actually pick up on more if they're in person. I don't know. I'm not
it
familiar.
shouldn't be influence, really, should it? Because we're all quantumly connected anyway, regardless of where we are. So um,
We don't
therefore,
always like everybody, but we sure do love them.
yes. So yeah, I don't think it would make much difference, to be honest with you. So I'm quite happy doing them online, but the opportunity has never come up for me to do one in person.
Mm.
So I can't really say for sure if it would make much difference until I've actually done one. So yeah.
Lay down one of your family members and say, "Hey, trust me."
Yeah.
And then when they wake up and they open their wallet and give you all their money and all this stuff because you implanted it. No, you wouldn't do that. Mm?
I know
I'm kidding.
maybe it's more intense in person. But then that would make, I don't know, that would make sense, I suppose, because you're channeling the energy through. I know when I've received Reiki in person, the experience is more intense. And when I've given it in person, the experience can be more intense. So it could very well make a difference. So we'll wait and see. I'll let you know. I'll update you on that when I do one in
Yeah, I was
person.
just wondering because of your, you've got your toroidal field around you, and
Mm.
being in close proximity, you're actually really sharing energy. I mean, you're sharing their toroidal field and yours,
Yeah. Mm.
so like when you do the scan of the body, or, you know, things of that nature, actually sharing your energy. I know I've heard from people that do these and they record them and they do them in person, that they are actually quite exhausting. So,
Yeah, it does. It does affect you absolutely. I mean, no matter what you do, it does affect you for sure. I mean, all energy work does. I mean, and people don't appreciate how much preparation there is before any kind of energy work session, as well as post session as well. Um,
mm-hmm.
so there's a lot of things to consider and a lot of preparation and things to do afterwards. So yeah, it does drain you as well. It does affect you
And it
because
takes a
it's just
little while to detether. And I'm working on right now detethering from somebody, which we'll talk about that. But I'm detethering myself as we're having our conversation now from somebody,
yeah,
so they'll no longer feel my energy. So they can be and do their thing. Now we're all connected, but that doesn't mean that we all have to impose impose our will onto other people. I mean, when we're like at a theme park or a concert and you're tightly packed in there, you got so many energies blending, and then when people are going through that empathetic and they could feel everybody's energy, you almost want to be in a high vibe type atmosphere. Going to a concert where everybody's having a great time and enjoying the music and stuff would feel good because your empathy is turned on. Going into a hospital, not so good, but once you start regulating and getting everything in balance, then you're able to go to the concert and the hospital and be able to shield yourself up and not get
yeah,
tethered to everybody around you. And also, you're able to detether yourself from people, and by removing your energy. And I would think that's a big part of doing that type of work is you actually join up with them, you're sharing energy, you're doing the session, you're even doing the healing part of it with the body scans and things. And then after, they're feeling better, okay? So they're going home because they just took a piece of what you just gave of yourself to them. And now you've got to work on detethering that and then recovering, pulling everything back into alignment. So I was just curious on how things were working out with that. And, people think that, okay, oh, they work in the energy field, or they do Reiki, or they do this, or they do that. It's not taxing, or it's not work, and it's not worthy of somebody, giving them a little bit of funds for the work that they're putting into it, but or any kind of exchange. Um, but it is work. It is work, and I don't know why that taboo has been put on that. You know, even in the scriptures, I'm going back to that again. They would talk about going and talking to a holy man, but then they would say, we have no gift and we have no money to present to the holy man in order to, present a gift to him for what we're asking of him. So I don't know how we got from that to where we are now, where everything is so taboo, that, oh my gosh, you should be, you should not be able to pay your bills. Your bills don't come in monthly like ours do because you do energy work. I mean, it sounds stupid when I say it out loud. It sounds ridiculous.
mm,
I mean, work is
yeah,
work. And I
Yeah.
understand, just like doctors do a residency, they don't get paid a whole heck of a lot. Or even with teachers, they go through and have to, what do they call them? Um, they go in and they teach for a year with an actual teacher, and they don't get paid for it. Oh, what word am I looking for? See if somebody in the chat's got it. No, 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 no. Anybody?
I'm not.
Anybody? Usually fifth world usually bells me out when I have a brain hemorrhage. What do they call that? Oh, you're like a volunteer, but
I know what you mean, and I think until while we're living in this kind of system where money is a requirement for survival and living, then yes, I can. Everyone needs to be able to survive. Everyone needs to be able to live, and the hope, at least for me, is that humanity will eventually get to a place where we won't live in this same kind of system, where everybody's needs will be provided for equally, no matter what they do.
right.
Until we get there, then yes, we do. There needs to be some kind of energy exchange. It doesn't necessarily have to be monetary, but there needs to
But
be.
even monetary is called currency. It's supposed to flow.
Current, yes, exactly. Yeah.
And you're right.
So,
That is the destination that so many people that we talk to that are going through this, is that money's not needed. You're born here. Why do you have to pay so much to live at a place you were born? I mean, that is the direction that we all want to see this place go. Your basic needs should be met and then some. And then I like the Ubuntu plan, where it's a voluntary, and there's minimal work involved, if you would even call it work, because you're doing something you enjoy. And then on one of the days you're doing something you enjoy, and then what is it, 3 hours a day or something like that.
if, if I remember correctly, it was. I think the original idea or proposal was 15 hours a week for your vocation, whatever it might be,
15, that's
and
right.
then
Yeah, 3 hours a day, 5 days.
hours a week for community service. So doing something different just for the community, not necessarily what you would prefer to do, and the rest of the time your free time. I mean, that was the original model in the book, as described. I mean, that won't work everywhere, and it won't work in all situations. So there'll be variability on that, and many people have taken that idea and running with it around the world. Slightly different in different places, calling it different names, but the idea, the seed, is what's important, not the nuts and bolts of the original proposal. It's the seed, the idea that we don't necessarily need money, and we don't necessarily need to live the kind of lives that so many people are living, where they're just working in things they don't enjoy. Getting
Mm-hmm.
up every morning and dreading going to work.
And it's
Um,
a long day. That's all they do. I mean, that's
yeah,
all they have time to do. They go to work, they come home, eat dinner, go to bed, get up,
living,
do the same
yes,
same
yeah,
thing. Mm-hmm.
out of balance, everything out of balance.
Yes. And with the project that I've been working on, it actually speaks of the days back then were calculated in 18-hour increments. So if they're actually, the days are 18 hours and not 24, how old am I? I don't want to go
Oh,
there. I'm a lot older.
I've not heard that one. I've come across the notion that the Earth used to have a year of 360 days rather than 365. There was some kind of cataclysm that changed the Earth's orbit, and that originally, for example, the pyramids at Giza were made in that time where the Earth had days of 360 days rather than 365. But I haven't heard the 18 hours a day one. No, that's new to me. So that's interesting.
Hi, Dead JPK. Glad I got a mod in the room. Thank you. Anybody else in there new? S. Echo? Did I get that right? And yeah, because when I do these, my I would have already modded up Fifth and T Taylor, but I'm gonna do that after I ask them. I like to ask people first because you know,
Sorry.
just to be polite.
Can
But
I just say hello to my niece
no,
who came to the channel just to comment in your thread. S
yes, of
S
course.
Echo is my niece. Hello.
Oh, the one I just said, as Echo.
Yes, that's my niece, Stacey. Thank you very much. Thank
Aww, that's sweet. She's here to cheer you on.
you. She is.
How long has it been since you've done a live stream?
Ages. I can't even remember. I think it would have been on your channel. Would have been the last time.
Oh, that was a
So
while.
yeah, a long time. Yeah, so much has been going on. Um, I haven't been uploading to YouTube for ages. So yeah, just my focus has been on my learning, my practice in various modalities, and just 3D stuff. Family stuff. So yeah, it's my aunt passed away last year from cancer. Just before Christmas. So that
Around
took
the
up a
same
lot of
time
time.
as my aunt did.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Um, so yeah, it's there's been a lot going on. So yeah, I'm just getting back into it really and uploading. And synchronistically, like we said, I was thinking of you, and then you popped into flame, and I was like, I saw you, and I was like, I have to go speak to you
I haven't
because
been
we
in
haven't.
there in forever. I mean, I
I
have
know,
not had time. So I
I
thought,
know.
I got a moment. I'll go in there and see what's going on. Where's Amber? What's she doing? Okay, she's showing green, but what room is she in? Because you're a member of a gazillion rooms, but that's okay. But I figured you'd figure it out, and you'd like within minutes after I popped in, bink, there you were. I had just
Exactly.
I had
That's
just
it.
gotten there.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of new people in there at the moment. So, yeah, there's a lot of interesting discussions going on because we've got an influx of new people coming in, so which is great. It's always good when that happens.
Yes,
Always. Yeah,
yes. And then then you figure out who's gonna stay and who's gonna go, who's gonna hang and who can't. It's all
yeah,
it's about how open is your mind. You know, some people will proclaim that they're very open minded, but then all of a sudden they have no tolerance for certain things. And if you have no tolerance for certain things, well, then are you open minded? It's like a paradigm, you know? It's a parable in itself. I mean, if you're open minded, then you're willing to hear people out without judgment. But if you're
yeah,
casting judgments, well, then you're not as open minded as you thought you were. Do you know what
yeah,
I mean? So, and
yeah.
everything's a learning experience. Everything is a learning experience.
And we all judge. I mean, we can't help it. We all make judgments every second of every day. But it's not about necessarily not making judgments. It's about being aware that that's what you're doing. So it's about having that awareness, because if you're aware that that's what you're doing, then when it isn't necessary and it's harmful, only then can you stop doing so. So it's first of all, it's gathering that awareness that that's what you're doing, and not beating yourself up about it when you do it, because like I said before, we're a new person every second, and we are who we are every second because of who we were the second before. So if you make a judgment and then you realize and you think, I shouldn't have done that, or I wish I hadn't done that, that's fine, but don't beat yourself up about doing so, because you wouldn't have come to that realization unless you had done that.
Mm. And you can't
Yeah.
change it. So, if it was something that imposed on the will of somebody else, apologize, make amends, and move on. If it's
Yeah.
something that you just like wish you would have ordered that chicken nuggets instead of that quarter pounder, well, tough. Eat the quarter pounder, get over it, and forgive yourself. I mean, it just depends on the circumstance. But you know,
Absolutely.
yeah, but you can't hold on to those kind of things in the past because it'll stunt your growth. And we always
Yeah.
want to be moving forward. And that's one thing that I have noticed, that with all the different directions and all the different testimonies and all the different things going on, our destinies all seem to be the same. We all seem to
Yeah.
want the same things for everybody, which is, where it doesn't cost people, people are able to be happy, do what they enjoy doing, and be treated equally, and with love, respect for others, treat others as you want to be treated. I mean, we all seem to want that. It's just a matter of getting from here to there. Some people, it takes a little bit longer. I mean, and some people haven't even woke up yet. If they are still enjoying the duality, we can't go and shake them awake. That's not our job. We can
Yeah.
try to share what we know by putting the information out there, but we can't force anybody to do anything. I can't go over and shake my daughter awake and say, this is what's going on. It just doesn't work that way. But people could stumble across us putting information out, like Tony with the crystalline DNA, the body changes, which was very interesting. How I came across her was, we were going swimming, and my husband and I were outside, and the palms of my hands were like they were sparkling, and it was freaking me out. And I'm like, well,
Mm.
let's go swimming. Maybe it'll go away. So we went swimming for about an hour, did my thing, I get out of the water, my hands are all pruny. Well, as they dry up, so I tried to record them on my phone, and I couldn't get close enough because they're actually under the skin. So then I did it with the lighting, and I zoomed way in with my camera, and I put a video up. She saw it, and her channel is all about how our bodies are changing. Now it
Mm.
makes me think of, what were we before this alleged fall,
Yeah.
before animal skins were applied to us? Is this animal skin? This was the question I posed at the end of the other. Is this what's considered the animal skin that was placed on us? Or, did he kill animals and put clothes over us? I mean, what were we? What did we look like? And are we at that point where we are going back to that? You know what with so much going on, I leave nothing off the table. What's your
Well,
opinions?
well, if it's true that the Earth has had multiple um, advanced humanoid civilizations on it prior to our species, or prior to like humanoids at all, then it stands to reason that we we were also those civilizations, on a spiritual level, at some level at all. What you're saying reminds me of the Sumerian histories about our creation by the Anunnaki, assuming that is true. But they use their consciousness and their DNA DNA to create us using the DNA and the flesh of a primitive hominid on this planet that had evolved on this planet and meshed them
Lucy.
together to form us. So that would have been effectively taking a spirit, a soul, and flesh and putting it in animal skins. If the animal is the word to describe something primitive of the earth, so that would apply to that as well. That's what was in my mind when you're talking about that, anyway.
So you're thinking that an alien civilization,
Or
Inky and
interdimensional.
Enlil. I know you've talked about Inky and Enlil a lot uh,
Yeah,
in
who knows?
in our past conversations. So
Yeah,
do you feel that they had something to do with the creation story? This is just
I
your
think it's
opinion. I'm not asking for facts.
certainly possible. So if it's, did they come from another planet? Did they come from another dimension?
Dimension.
If we consider the spiritual world as being everything that is not 3D, so it's everything, all the different dimensional ranges of frequency and beings and consciousnesses and all the other dimensions, all under one umbrella term, the spiritual world. um, they could very well have been intra-dimensional beings that simply could come into this dimension, or they could have come from a physical planet within this dimension. Maybe they've moved on and they've ascended. Now they are interdimensional, whereas they used to be physical. The Earth's frequency could have been different. So back then, perhaps the fall of man was to do with the drop in the Schumann resonance. So I think it's perfectly possible, yes, that there is truth, a lot of truth in these Sumerian histories, that we were created, basically. And if that's true, then the Anunnaki themselves believed in a creator. Because they, according to the accounts, they argued amongst themselves about whether they had the right create us, because they
A
were not the creator.
simulation inside of a simulation.
Yeah, 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 exactly. So it doesn't discount the existence of a creative consciousness, a creative being, a creator. Simply, if we were created by this other race of beings, the Anunnaki, of which we are a part. So it doesn't discount the existence of a creator, because they too believed in a god, a creator. It's just that some of them took on, according to the histories, later took on that role of being gods, just like the pharaohs used to say they were gods, and the monarchs used to say they were gods. They were given the God-given right, and it's the same thing. So it doesn't discount the existence of God, a creator.
And I can see where different planets, although we see them in the sky, could actually represent dimensions,
Yes.
different dimensions. And so, what do we
Yeah.
got? They demoted Pluto, but don't we have another one now? So is it still 9, or are we up to 10?
I
Um,
think we're officially. They have, as far as I recall, I may be wrong, but they say there is a 10th planet, but they haven't seen it yet, and there
and
is
then
another
if we count the
sun.
sun and the moon, that would be 12, and 12 seems to be one of those numbers that is around. You hear it a lot. There's a reason we hear 12 all the time. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm sure there's well beyond 12, but it's just something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear that to me that all the planets and the various stars, it's like this place is all of these planets and stars are like cogs in a machine that influence and affect and help create this planet and influence everything that's on this planet. That's why there is truth in learning your birth chart and following the lunar cycle and realizing how it affects you, for example. So we are all influenced. We, as in our ego, our identity, our person in this lifetime, we are all influenced by the movements of all of these things, and that could mean that um, they are holographic. They're not going to have other life on it, or but it doesn't discount the possibility that there is other life on it. Each of these things, because say for example say Nibiru does exist and there's another race of sentient beings living on Nibiru, they would be equally affected by the movements of the Earth. So just as we would be equally affected by the movements of Nibiru,
Because
doesn't
even
discount
though it's a
the
different dimension, they're we're still all tied together, like a string of pearls. You know, we're all if the different dimensions, they're still all threaded together,
yes, yes, absolutely,
and one affects the other. Yeah, and then
yeah.
another one is the holographic theory is, and the science is. Doing some breakthrough. I actually need to go watch a post that Dead GPK shared with me about, the science is admitting certain things that we've been talking about in the spiritual realm. So I don't want to speak out of turn because I haven't had a chance to actually go and look at the post yet, but I'm going to. It's on my to do list because he comes up with some pretty amazing. Also, I want to go ahead and, because I know people will watch this later, if you have not subscribed to Dead GPK, please do. He also does, just like I want you to subscribe to Tony Taylor, Fifth World, of course, Amber's Place. But Dead GPK is, I think, three away from his 1,000. So
Oh
he
wow.
is just three more subscribers. So right when you get off here, you gotta go subscribe to him.
If I was
I don't.
subscribed already, I would subscribe to him, of course.
Yeah,
And
if you're not already, please subscribe to him. Um, Mel's Table Talk can subscribe to him too. You can talk to her about that.
my channels are subscribed to him. Yeah, I think
Oh,
they
okay.
are.
Oh, well, darn. I tried. But I'm sure that we know, a few people because that is so close. And he does amazing sky footage videos. And actually, I think he does his on submissions, where Fifth World, I think hers are all self made. They're, it's, they're all amazing. They're all amazing. Just like, just in general. I always say his name wrong. That's why I just say Lee. But,
This is
with Disintegral, with his sky footage and stuff, and when he does the time lapse and stuff, the images and the flashes and all that, it's pretty amazing. There's some
it
crazy stuff going on up there. It's like,
is.
what?
Absolutely. I mean, I've seen the two suns. I didn't see talking about the sky. I didn't see um I wasn't able to see the two round suns, but what I did see is I saw the sun in one part of the sky and the light source from another sun in another part of the sky, and it only lasted for I don't know 5-10 minutes, and then it faded. But yeah, that was amazing seeing that.
What? I
Yeah.
missed that?
Yeah. I don't think I told you. Wasn't it wasn't that long ago? A few months ago. Yeah, I was just outside and I saw it and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So yeah, I have seen it.
Wow.
Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah. Wow. Did you record it?
I did get my phone to take a picture, but because of the light, it just didn't show it that well. I mean, you could just barely make out there was another light source by the time I got my phone, but it wasn't the same as seeing it in person. So
Yeah.
wasn't really worth sharing. I
You
think I shared
probably
it in play.
you should have put a filter on there. Would have pulled it up. But I tell you that you should do that, but I don't know how to do that.
I have no idea. I'm really not over at the YouTube channel.
I
That's
know. I'm pushing buttons like crazy, and doing some crazy stuff here lately. I'm trying to get used to going back live and using this equipment to go with the live streaming because we're going to have a roundtable discussion. So, yeah. in I'm definitely rusty from not going live in so long, and I don't know if people even think that if it says I'm live, if I'm really live. Is she really live, or is she showing us some crazy video like I did today? Oh my, I'm so embarrassed because of that. But it has been well over an hour. So if you'll hang
Okay.
tight with me,
Wow.
and yeah, if the chat will bear with me for just one moment while it just shows me and some crazy screen. Um,
Thank you very much for inviting me on, Michelle.
oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you, everyone who's watching this and live, and will watch it recorded. And I would just, while Michelle busy now, I would just like to say that I will do so now. That I will
Please
be
like,
sending
share,
Reiki
and subscribe.
to
Hit the bell to
everybody
be
who is present
notified
here
of new
tonight,
postings,
everybody who will watch this in
premieres,
future.
and
If they
live
choose to receive it,
shows.
the Reiki is there for you. Just simply have the intention to receive it, and if you don't, it's fine. It will simply go to Gaia or to somebody else who needs it.
If you'd like to sponsor the channel, the links are below. I have both Patreon and PayPal. And thank you, channel supporters. Without your support to keep things going, I don't know where I would be. It's people like you and your generosity that helps the work improve and for us to be able to grow. Thank you.